wildest dreams. Let's find the places no one's seen on the ice cream expedition team.
Welcome to the Living Well, Living Rich podcast, and welcome to today's deep dive. Imagine spending years, like literally years, mastering the most complex, elite academic theories in the world.
Right, just grinding through all that peer-reviewed research.
Exactly. You navigate the highest echelons of academia, you earn a PhD from a highly prestigious university, and you reach the absolute pinnacle of formal education.
Yeah.
And then after all of that, you realize that to actually transform people's lives, you need to, you basically need to abandon all the jargon and start thinking like a small-town herbal pharmacist.
It's definitely a striking pivot, isn't it? Especially from the modern consensus on education.
It really is. Today we are unpacking a fascinating stack of front matter and foundational text for a 2026 publication. It's called The Garden of Forgotten Dreams.
And our mission for this deep dive is to deconstruct what is honestly a deeply counterintuitive idea.
Right, this possibility that we have fundamentally overcomplicated what it means to acquire life wisdom.
Because if you look at the landscape of learning today, there's this pervasive assumption that, complexity equals value.
Oh, absolutely. Like if it doesn't hurt your brain to read it, it must not be important.
Exactly. If a concept requires immense cognitive strain, we just assume it's profound.
Yeah.
But the materials on the table today, specifically the underlying philosophy of this book and its publisher, they present a really compelling argument that the most transformative ideas are actually the most accessible ones.
So let's set the stage with the sources for you listening. We are examining the publishing philosophy of Kokoshungsan Ltd. Specifically, we're looking at an imprint called Kokoshungsan Kids.
Right.
And the author behind this entire initiative is Dr. Shu Chen Hou. Now, I have to admit, when I first saw the word kids on the imprint, my immediate thought was, okay, we are looking at a basic, maybe overly simplistic bedtime story.
Which is the natural assumption.
Oh, right.
I mean, anyone would think that.
Yeah.
But parsing the publisher's manifesto quickly dispels that notion.
Yeah, they are aiming much higher.
Much higher. The explicit stated belief driving this imprint is that education is one of the most powerful forces for transforming lives and shaping a better future.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're framing their work not just as, mere entertainment to keep toddlers quiet. It's a comprehensive pedagogical tool.
Right. They're attempting to equip readers with foundational ethics and the cognitive frameworks necessary to navigate the modern world.
And they're doing it through what appear to be incredibly simple narratives.
But to understand how they actually pull that off, we have to look at the author's background. Because the mechanism behind this whole educational approach is rooted in this massive contradiction.
Yeah, the contrast is fascinating.
You have Dr. Shu Chen Hou, who holds a PhD from the University of Bristol in the UK.
Which represents the pinnacle of modern, rigorous, structurally complex academia.
Exactly. But then the publisher's history reveals that the true inspiration for this entire initiative does not come from, a sterile, high-tech university lecture hall.
No, it comes from a traditional herbal shop in Taiwan.
The Yongsheng Herbal Pharmacy.
Right, and that contrast, that's the key to their entire philosophy.
Because an herbal pharmacy is so different from a university.
It is the absolute antithesis of abstract academia. I mean, herbal pharmacy operates on generational knowledge, right? Careful environmental observation, practical application.
It's hands-on.
Very hands-on. It's not about theorizing in a vacuum. It is about looking at a person who walks through the door, treating them as a whole organism rather than just a collection of symptoms and, providing a tangible natural remedy meant to heal and nourish.
That makes me reconsider how we usually deliver information today.
How so?
Well, I was just thinking of this analogy. It's like a chef, right? A chef who trains in a highly complex, elite Michelin star kitchen.
Oh, like this.
But then decides their true calling is to open a neighborhood kitchen serving simple, nourishing, deeply traditional meals.
Yes.
In academia, if someone wants to understand botany, you hand them a massive textbook on cellular biology.
Which is overwhelming for most people.
Completely. But an apothecary doesn't hand a sick person a botanical manual.
Right. They take all of that complex understanding of those plants and they compound the active necessary ingredients into a specific distilled tincture.
A tincture the body can actually absorb.
And that is the exact mechanism at play in Kokoshungsan's approach to publishing.
It's so clever.
The source text actually notes that Dr. Hou's parents, Mr. Hu Shusan and Mrs. Peng Kaifeng, were the individuals who embodied the values of the Yongsheng Herbal Pharmacy.
Values of care, integrity, and a deep respect for learning.
Exactly. So Dr. Hou is essentially acting as an educational apothecary.
Oh, I love that phrase, educational apothecary.
She is taking the rigorous, highly structured understanding of pedagogy required to earn a PhD, and she's fusing it with the community-focused practical wisdom of her parents' pharmacy.
Because the stated goal in the text is to make knowledge simple, accessible, and meaningful for everyday life.
Meaningful for everyday life, that's the crucial part.
So the translation process is really about distilling the academic theory into an active ingredient that the reader's mind can digest.
Rather than just overwhelming them with raw data.
Right.
Precisely. They are taking the insights generated in the ivory tower and reformulating them so they can be consumed and utilized in the family living room.
It is a deliberate act of translation from the abstract to the practical.
And that brings us to the core life wisdom driving the Garden of Forgotten Dreams itself.
Yes, let's get into the book. Because that bridge between the herbal pharmacy's care and the university's rigor, it really powers their entire brand philosophy.
It's front and center.
Right at the beginning of the materials, they lay out a very bold motto. It says, knowledge changes destiny. Education changes the world.
Powerful statement.
It is. But the sentence that immediately follows it in what they call the Kokoshungsan approach, that is where I stumbled a bit.
Oh, why is that?
Well, it states, small ideas, understood clearly, can create lasting change. And I just have to pause here because looking at the world you and I live in today, the problems we face are massive. They're interconnected, and they are incredibly complex.
They certainly are.
We are dealing with algorithm manipulations, global economic shifts, and just this constant, unrelenting information overload.
Right.
So suggesting that a small idea can change destiny almost sounds, I don't know, a little naive.
I can see why you'd say that.
I mean, how does a small idea actually compete with the sheer volume of complex data we have to process daily? Have we overcomplicated wisdom, or are they oversimplifying it?
That is the perfect question to ask.
Yeah.
But it competes by functioning as a foundational anchor, rather than trying to match the volume of the noise.
An anchor. Okay, I'm listening.
The philosophy here isn't arguing that the world isn't complex. They know it is. It's arguing that the tools we use to navigate complexity must be clear and internalized.
Oh, interesting.
Let's look at the specific pillars their publishing philosophy targets.
Mm-hmm.
They explicitly mention a commitment to media literacy, character education, and ethical participation in the modern world.
Okay, media literacy is a perfect example here.
Right.
Usually when we try to teach media literacy, we try to explain confirmation bias, algorithmic echo chambers, and, source verification methodologies.
Which is incredibly dry and technical.
So dry.
And because it is dry and technical, it rarely alters behavior. It stays up there in the realm of theory.
Yeah, you take the test, you pass it, and then you go right back to doom scrolling.
Exactly. But the Kokoshungsan approach asserts that stories help us understand one another and imagine new possibilities.
Stories.
Yes. So instead of providing a lecture on the dangers of rumor amplification of digital networks, you provide a simple story where a character experiences the emotional fallout of a lie.
I see.
The small idea is the emotional truth of the story. And once the reader understands that small idea clearly, it acts as an ethical filter.
So when they later encounter those complex media environments, they aren't trying to recall some complicated theory.
No, they are operating from an internalized understanding of character and ethics.
So the simplicity is the feature, not a bug.
Precise.
By keeping the idea small and housing it within a narrative, it actually bypasses the brain's resistance to complex lectures.
It goes straight into the reader's operating system.
That is brilliant. That is the pedagogical mechanism at work.
Because rote memorization of endless facts does not equate to wisdom.
Definitely not.
Wisdom is the ability to apply ethical frameworks to new, unexpected situations. If the foundational ideas are buried in academic jargon, they cannot be readily accessed when a person is out in the real world making split-second decisions.
Right. You can't be flipping through a mental textbook while life is happening.
Exactly. A story is the ultimate delivery vehicle because it allows you to internalize character without feeling like you are being instructed.
Let's transition from the abstract philosophy to how this actually manifests in the physical book.
Yes, the visual aspect.
Because writing small ideas create lasting change on the copyright page is one thing, but embodying it visually is another.
And they do it so beautifully.
They really do. The front matter of the Garden of Forgotten Dreams includes this very specific, evocative watercolor-style illustration that seems to capture this entire dynamic without using a single word.
The visual composition of that artwork is highly deliberate. It serves as a direct reflection of the dual influences we've been discussing.
You mean the weight of established history alongside the vulnerability of new growth?
That's exactly it.
Let me describe the scene for you listening. It is a soft, beautifully rendered watercolor, and the image is divided conceptually into two sides.
Right.
On the left, dominating that half of the frame, is a vibrant, fully bloomed rose. It is painted in these rich, deep shades of orange and peach.
It's very striking.
It looks sturdy, established, and fully realized. Then, over on the right side of the image, emerging from a small, very humble little mound of brown dirt, is a tiny, fragile, green seedling.
Just starting out.
Yeah, it only has a couple of tiny leaves just beginning to unfurl.
The juxtaposition forces us to ask what the dialogue is between those two elements. I mean, they are occupying the same ecosystem, but they represent entirely different stages of existence.
Well, if we filter this visual through the lens of Dr. Hou's background, I think the interpretation is pretty clear.
Let's hear it.
The fully bloomed orange peach rose seems to be a representation of established wisdom.
Oh, yeah?
It is the legacy of the Yongsheng Herbal Pharmacy. It represents the decades of accumulated integrity and care from her parents. You could even say it represents that hard-earned PhD from Bristol.
It is knowledge that has gone through the long, arduous process of maturing and blossoming.
Exactly. The rose has already achieved its destiny, to borrow a phrase from their motto.
It has realized its potential. So what role does the seedling play in that ecosystem?
The seedling has to be the reader. Or, more specifically, the reader's curiosity. It is the forgotten dream, referenced in the title. It is that tiny, fragile impulse to learn something new, or to imagine a different possibility.
Surrounded by plain dirt.
Right. Surrounded by dirt, it is vulnerable, but it is fundamentally alive. And what is crucial here is that the image doesn't present the seedling as inferior to the rose.
No, not at all.
It simply presents it as being at the very beginning of its timeline.
Your interpretation aligns perfectly with the textual promise embedded in the book.
Really?
Yes. The philosophy section states explicitly, education begins with curiosity and grows through learning.
Oh, wow. There it is.
The seedling is the raw curiosity. The rose is the culmination of that learning. But there's a vital piece of context here.
What's that?
This completely reframes how we view a kid's imprint. The publisher explicitly states their aim is to support lifelong growth for readers of all ages.
That is the line that made me rethink the entire project. Readers of all ages.
It fundamentally changes the application of the visual metaphor.
How do you mean?
Well, if this was strictly a children's book, we would look at the illustration and assume the rose is the adult teacher and the seedling is the child student.
Right, the classic dynamic.
But by specifying readers of all ages, the publisher is telling you, the listener, that you contain both of these elements within yourself right now.
Oh, that's deep.
You have aspects of your life, your career, your personal development, where you are the fully bloomed rose. You have established expertise. You have hard-won wisdom. You have your own version of a PhD or a generational pharmacy.
Right, areas where you feel competent and fully realized.
Exactly.
All right.
But if you want to continue to transform your life, you must intentionally cultivate the seedling.
You have to maintain your own internal garden.
Yes.
And, it requires a certain kind of humility to allow yourself to be the fragile little green sprout.
Especially when you are already established and comfortable being the rose.
Exactly. It's uncomfortable to be a beginner again. But if knowledge changes destiny, then the logical conclusion is that the moment you stop learning, the moment you refuse to be the seedling, your destiny becomes fixed.
You stop growing, and you just start slowly wilting.
Wow. Yeah.
And that is the danger of equating learning with heavy, burdensome complexity.
Oh, bring that full circle. I see where you're going.
If you believe that acquiring new wisdom requires immense, agonizing cognitive load, like a 10-hour lecture or a massive textbook, you will rarely find the energy to plant new seedlings.
The friction is simply too high. You're too tired from just living life to tackle a textbook.
Exactly. But if you internalize the Kokoshungsan approach, the idea that learning can be as simple and accessible as absorbing a well-told story or grasping one small, clear ethical concept, then cultivating that internal garden becomes a sustainable, joyful practice.
Rather than an exhausting chore,
Right.
it is a radical reframing of personal growth. It completely strips away the intimidation factor.
It really does.
We don't need to rebuild our entire worldview from scratch every time we want to improve. We just need to plant one small idea and make sure we understand it clearly enough for it to take root.
And we must ensure the environment we plant it in is fertile.
The dirt from the illustration.
Yes. The materials emphasize character education and ethical participation because those are the soil conditions required for the seedling to actually become something that positively impacts the broader world.
Because wisdom in a vacuum is just trivia.
Exactly. Wisdom applied through an ethical lens is what actually changes destiny.
So let's synthesize the core insights we've extracted from these sources today.
Sounds good.
The life wisdom embedded in the Garden of Forgotten Dreams by Dr. Shu Chen Hou proves that profound truth does not require dense jargon or overwhelming complexity.
In fact, complexity often obscures the truth.
Right. Real, actionable wisdom is about compounding simple, clear ideas that inspire positive change.
It is an educational philosophy built on a fascinating contradiction.
Taking the immense rigor of high-level academia, that PhD or in Bristol, and distilling it through the deeply practical, holistic, and caring approach of a traditional Taiwanese herbal pharmacy.
It is about treating the whole person with a narrative that heals and educates, rather than just treating a symptom with a textbook.
And it serves as a necessary reminder that our capacity to grow is not limited by our age or our current level of expertise.
No matter how much of a rose you already are.
Exactly. As long as we are willing to foster that initial spark of curiosity, to be the seedling in the shadow of the rose, we maintain the ability to change our own destiny.
We can keep growing.
Now, if you listening are interested in exploring the mechanics of this philosophy firsthand, or if you want to experience how these small ideas are woven into narrative form, you can explore their educational resources and ebooks.
They are definitely worth checking out.
The physical books themselves contain a QR code that connects directly to their expanded learning materials. But you can also bypass that and visit their platform directly at Kokoshungsan.net.
That is spelled KOKOSUNGSAN.net.
Whether you are seeking a resource for a younger reader to build their media literacy, or you are looking for a way to bypass your own intellectual fatigue and reconnect with simple, grounding wisdom, the framework they have built is thoroughly considered and highly intentional.
It really is a refreshing approach.
As we conclude this deep dive into the source material, we always like to leave you with a provocation. A way to apply the mechanisms we've discussed to your own immediate reality.
Consider the core operating principle of Dr. Hou's work. Small ideas, understood clearly, can create lasting change.
We are constantly inundated with massive amounts of data.
But data is not wisdom. I want you to step back from the noise and ask yourself, what is one small, incredibly simple idea or piece of advice you've encountered recently that you are failing to actively nurture?
What is the tiny, fragile green seedling in your own personal garden of forgotten dreams that just needs a little bit of your attention and watering today?
We packed our bags, we're on our way to ice cream mountains where flavors sway. Tim's got a map and dreams so sweet, adventures waiting for our feet. Sprinkle skies and chocolate streams swirl through our wildest dreams. Let's find the places no one's seen on the ice cream expedition team. We climbed up high on waffle peaks where caramel rivers spill their streaks. Marshmallow clouds float around with flair. Every step's a taste beyond compare. Sprinkle skies and chocolate streams swirl through our wildest dreams. sprinkled skies and chocolate streams swirl through our wild. This dreams, let's find the places no one's seen on the ice cream expedition.